Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to speak to you again. We're on episode 29, season 2 of Love Island USA. Quite a bit of a different episode today, so we've got quite a lot of different things going on, so not dominated by a single storyline as such or single character, so we've got quite a lot of different things, and a bit like Kirsten's choice of tops, I'm not sure we're going to fit everything in. But
Dave, let's have a chat about that, right? I'm walking a fine line here, so I'm trying to, knowing that my wife is going to be listening to this down the road. But
yeah, you're the married one. I can say whatever I want.
You can say what the hell you want, but I can say it, Dave, but just not record it. But anyway, but genuinely, when she was getting changed, I thought, oh, she's got like a bra thing on, blah blah blah. And then when she was turning the diary, I'm thinking, that's surely not her dress. And I'm thinking she's definitely bringing the big guns out to try and stay in the villa here, Dave. I mean, I can't say too much on that, Dave. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed to see her go.
But more excited to see her arrive, clearly. No, let's get on. Right, so the first thing I think to cover today is Bennett, because he's the newest boy, isn't he? That stuck around for a little bit. Obviously, we lost Benny and Noah. So, I thought, actually, sticking on with Kirsten, I suppose, I think he was trying. I think he was still trying to rekindle something with Kirsten, but he was just getting nothing from her at all, was he? And then he's sort of putting the feelers out with some of the other girls. So what do you reckon of Bennett's performance tonight?
I think you're right. I think, and I said yesterday, didn't I? Like, there's something with Kirsten, Dave, and you hit the nail on the head because she even acknowledged that at the end. She's never got over Carrington. That was her complete. That was her lobster, Dave, as a friends of mine call each other their
Good
lobsters.
one.
But
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So she was never going to think, and she did say, and I thought it was quite sweet. She was trying to hold it back about, like, at least two of her favourite people are happy. And I felt quite sad for her, really, Dave. I don't necessarily think she didn't find anybody. Bennett was offering things, but I'd certainly rather see Kirsten in. And not for the obvious, childish joke I've just said. I can't stand Moira or Calvin anyway. So get on my fucking nerves, them two donuts. So I just think she deserves to stay in longer. I know it's not Friend Island. You always say that. But if I was going to pick them two would have gone a long time ago. So disappointed. Bennett, nice lad. He's been quite honest with the things he's been doing. He's been quite honest and said, he's put it out there. She's not really reciprocating. We understand why. And then obviously he sort of he did pick Laurel in the challenge and give her a snog because he felt sorry for her. But ultimately the recoupling was a shock, Dave. I know it centers around Bennett and Laurel and Carrington and Lakeland, but I was shocked by that decision tonight.
Yeah, so skipping right to the end there. So again, Carrington, Laurel, and Lakin, they were a big kind of triangle. They were a big theme of tonight's episode, weren't they? And I found myself, Chris, they milked that fucker, didn't they? Jesus Christ. Tonight I'm going to pick dramatic shot. Look at Johnny. What's Johnny thinking? Everyone's tense. Let's cut to a commercial break. So I found myself thinking, I'm not sure Laurel is the right decision for him. Because we've sort of taken the piss out of him, given him a bit of a hard time because he just jumps on from one train to the next very easily. But with the fact is, he'd hardly spoken to Laurel in the whole episode, and she was just a wreck, wasn't she? And Kirsten, it did seem a bit strange, and she called herself out for that. It's a bit strange that the two of them are both, consoling each other. More so, Kirsten consoling Laurel all over the same boy because he's got eyes for a third girl. Does seem a bit strange. But when he actually said Laurel, I kind of felt a little bit of happiness for Laurel, but I felt to my core, and I'm not sure I can even articulate it. It felt to me, he knows the right decision. He feels more of an instant spark with Lakin, but he's making the safe choice with Laurel. And I think that is a little bit of a 180 from me, to be quite honest, because up until tonight's episode, I'd have said, of course, he should stick with Laurel. He should um, uh, be loyal for a fucking change. But I think it might be just the line about, he's always put himself first, and now he's going to choose not to, kind of thing. So, what do you reckon? How did you see it, Chris?
I sort of, I know our good friend Terence has called us out about our slating of Carrington. I did think he slightly redeemed himself at the end, but in the back of my head, I'm still thinking there's some sort of play going on here that I'm not aware of, because the whole episode and the whole direction, and it's great to have a swerve like that day because you go, oh, right, shit, but the whole direction of it all. And just as a side note, Dave, I have to keep saying Sam's behind us on it. It was the episode where he brought Laurel back from Casa Amor. Dave, Samantha was not happy, and I'm pissing myself. We were watching it in bed, and I'm on my phone. I've got YouTube on because I'm thinking I'm not watching, this again. And she sat there, and I'm looking at her, I'm giving her the old side eye, and she's like, "Oh my, what a bastard!" And then she even called out the producers. She said, like, she does listen to this, but she was not happy, Dave, with him. So I don't think he's one of her favourites. And remembering some of the things that he's done. It's like, holy shit, you've got some balls. I said it yesterday. I think he's redeemed himself. I'm happy if it's genuine. However, we do get a prelude to possibly something happening tomorrow with Lake, and actually calls him out saying he's a good actor and stuff, because his whole body language, and he's just foot Laurel off completely. Picks Laken in the, I keep calling her Lakeland, don't I? But Laken, he picked her in the challenge yesterday, snogged her face off, which was completely disrespectful to Laurel. So I don't know what he's playing at. He's proper head fucking a Dave completely. She's an absolute wreck, Laurel.
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting watching it and referring back to it in this staggered way. So when he came back, though, surely Sam wasn't surprised that he came back with someone. I guess my only surprise was I thought the producers would give him a poke in the ribs and say, make sure Mercedes comes back, because that'll be, good for the drama. It'd be brilliant to have Mercedes. She's going to mix it up in the villa, but definitely she'll be able to expose Johnny and his version of the truth. So I think that was a genuine choice. I don't think that was the producers doing that. But it is kind of the second time, isn't it, in a couple of weeks, that he's sort of made Laurel feel like, she's in a competition with another girl. First time Mercedes, this time with Lakin.
Yeah, and it was great, wasn't it? I must admit, full respect to the fucking producers, Dave. Carrington's giving his speech, and coincidentally, all three girls that he's pissed about are all stood next to each other.
But I do think, with what he was saying to Laurel as well, because eventually they did talk, I couldn't fault anything that he was saying there. He was just saying he isn't clear in his own head. And I think it's a fair thing to say when you say that, because it does take you a while to process things. And fucking hell, it is going to fuck with your head, isn't it? Having all these
Yeah.
beautiful people and, I tell you what, Chris, I said it yesterday, I think it was. I hadn't heard vibing before, but I heard it tonight. So Lakin was saying that she was vibing with Carrington. I was like, oh, they've said it. So must have been listening. So yeah, no. So do you think Carrington's made the right choice?
If the romantic in me, Dave, and I am a romantic, I'm sure Sam will testify that. I would say
You
great.
reckon?
Well, I don't know, but yeah, it's no need for that, David. I've got some fine kettle chips in for tonight while we watch Gogglebox. So yeah,
Nice,
and some
nice.
dip, salsa dip, yeah, and some prosecco. So
Watching
yeah,
watching a bit of Netflix.
no Gogglebox save on a Friday.
Oh, right, fair dues, fair dues.
Yeah, but no, I don't think he's made a right decision at all. He's not interested in anybody in here. He is just being Carrington, Dave. And I'm sure if another girl comes in, which is probably a bit too late, his head would swivel on a fucking pivot straight away. He's like a kid in a sweet shop, innit? Something new comes in, and he got called out on that straight by Laurel, and he's there. And I don't believe he has any intentions for any of the girls in there, Dave. I don't know what he's playing at, if I'm being honest.
I think Carrington's perfect girl is actually like him with a wig on.
Yeah.
Or his perfect partner, I should say, because he spends that much time in the mirror and he's so in love with himself. I think that'd suit him down to the ground. But like you say, on tomorrow night, it does look like we're going to get some bit of drama. And is that Lakin just being a bit bitter? But ultimately, it's the final recoupling, isn't it? So surely, if he does sort of start playing about now, then he's fucked his chances of the final, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's getting. Look, Dave, he's not winning it. I'd be absolutely be the biggest fucking heel turn we've ever seen. There's no way that he can win this show. Not a chance, Dave. And I will say, Dave, just moving on slightly in Carrington, I'm telling you now, Dave, my Caleb and Justine prediction's going to come true in the next episode or so. It's definitely going to
The
happen.
boyfriend girlfriend. Do you think it's going to be one
Oh
of
yeah,
those? Just time it so it's just right up to the final.
yeah,
Maybe a couple of days before the final, so it's nice and fresh in people's heads, so that when they're voting. To be fair, I ultimately think Johnny and Sally have played at being quite sweet, haven't they? The last few episodes. I just think the public don't forget that quickly. They don't forget as quickly as Selly does. So I just don't see them as viable winners. And I think it's a one horse race. I think it's just Justine and Caleb. I don't see any other
yeah.
winner in this.
No, I don't. And I think the only thing that would possibly get someone else winning is what you said about Selly, because Selly's loved by everyone, I think, Dave. I'm not with anyone
True.
that's Slater. So that
Yeah.
could be a bit like the Amber situation where she's loved and she ends up winning it because no one's really bothered about. I mean, people have called Johnny out. Obviously, when she won it, it was because what Mike did to her. He
Yeah.
absolutely decimated her, didn't he? So that's why she won by default, because even we were like, the bastard, and all. And then Mike was pissing about trying to get back with her when the girl he got with actually ended up getting booted off. So I think it is it's a one horse race. Sorry, I'm talking about the both of them, but it is just them two for me, and Johnny and Sally probably second. Moira and Freckles, see you later.
Oh
Carrington
God.
and fucking Laurel, see ya.
For me, it's wrong. Not only for Kirsten. I do think that it's right for Kirsten to go because for a few weeks now, she's just clearly not been over Carrington. So it's like, she seemed to have an initial connection with Bennett, and then that went away as quickly as it came. And it's like, look, if you're not going to at least explore something with someone, we're that close to the end now. I think it was right for her to go. Julia, she only just fucking got in,
Yeah.
and you've still got Moira there. It just seems wrong to me that.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? Julie seemed like a nice girl, and I think other than the first episode, she's not featured at all. She's a little bit of laughing tonight, but we've not seen anything of her, have we? And obviously, there mustn't be a connection with any of the guys. She seemed like a lovely girl. And again, a bit like DeAndre and Pat, who came in on the guys in Castor and Moore, didn't see anything of them at all. I think Pat had one conversation. DeAndre, I think we only saw him working out once. I think he may have said a couple of lines. He completely ostracize these people and we're out the door. So it's interesting. You don't get that connection. But Lakeland, to be fair, Dave, Lakeland, she has genuinely come in and caused a kerfuffle because we all know who she is, and what she's about. I think she is daft pursuing Carrington anyway. I do, but I'm gonna wait and see what tomorrow's shows because it's obviously gonna hot up.
Well, I mean, sticking on Julia. So obviously we get the girls' prank challenge, don't we? And they have to do different things. But sticking on to Julia, she basically poured a whole water bottle over Calvin, and I just, when something you can't quite figure out what is wrong about this, but the way Julia she did it, and she didn't say sorry or anything. She just burst out laughing. And Calvin's trying to brush it off, like he's clearly pissed off, but he's trying to be nice. And I was like, surely if you do that, you just say, "Oh, sorry about that." The fact that she didn't say sorry and just burst out laughing just seemed a bit off to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think as well, though, Dave, them games are rubbish, aren't they? The lads must be so self-absorbed because why could you not see that was fucking set up? Justine's going around kissing everybody and all that. Come on. I want grapes feeding to me, Moira. It's like, it's completely out of character. I know it's all a game. And then they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize. But obviously they win an ice cream bar thing, don't they? And there's a bit of fun there. But I think sometimes the intelligence that the producers give to the audience needs to be looked at because we're not going to buy any of this horse shit, are we? Really? Come on. As much
I
as I love
bought it.
Love Island.
I quite liked it. So it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Like I said the other day, boredom's got to be a factor. And I think when you do watch the extra bits and stuff, you do see that there's lots of little games that they do to keep themselves entertained. So it doesn't seem that implausible to me. Quite often it just doesn't make the main episode. I
Yeah,
thought I
true.
thought it was odd that when Laurel was like, can you behaving like a 6-year-old girl, Johnny, can you blow this up for me? And it's like, well, that was a bit weird, just behaving in that. It's just like it did seem strange. It was a big fucking thing to puff up, though, wasn't it? Fuck me, it must have taken him ages. But no, I thought that was weird. I thought, Moira trying to get herself fed grapes, and then Caleb just bloody shoves 3 in there. She's trying to look all sexy and stuff, and it's just not pulling it off at all. Um, and then yeah, so and Sally, she's up there, isn't she, doing a water aerobics every morning and stuff. So getting the guys to jump in the pool, well, that was pretty easy. I wouldn't have picked up on any of that. I don't think. Um, what I did find weird. So given we're told, and I noticed this a few times actually tonight, Chris. I think with some of the Bennington chats, we see a lot of chats that are chats about chats. It's like chatting. It's like Chris. Me and you we're having these great conversations, and I feel like they're really deep, and we're vibing. We get on with each other. For me, that's a chat about a chat. That's about a previous conversation that we haven't seen. I never see, or not that I never see it, but I seldom see an actual, genuine, jokey, kind of really good connection type chat. It's always the chat after that chat, it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. And Dave, look, we've done that many series now. It's second nature. And like you said yesterday, we're calling out the games that we've seen over and over again. But obviously, to the US audience, a lot of our listeners, they may not have watched any of the other series. We're just absolute Love Island whores, aren't we? We just completely go across every single country to watch it.
Yeah.
I have seen that there's a Swedish one, a German one. Obviously, there's not going to be any English, Dave, and I can't see that it's going to be available on the UK TV. But maybe we might have had a bit of English in the Sweden one. But I would have been happy to throw that in there as another one to
Fuck
review.
you. You're not
But
fucking happy enough with the US, Australian, and UK ones. You want us to diversify and learn a foreign fucking language as well while we're at it.
got to spread your wings, Dave. I
Jesus
will
Christ.
say, I will say, and you don't know I'm going to say this, but what I would say with this coming to a conclusion, and like we said, we're going to take a slight little break and then we'll come back with something. People, email us, tweet us, give us some suggestions what you want us to review. If there's anything that's along the lines of Love Island that you've loved or something that's upcoming, get in touch. I mean, it can't be any worse than Labour of Love, and we stuck that out for 8 episodes. So anything you've got, just so I know that Davey sat there with the Chris Phelps voodoo doll putting pins in it. I'm sat there with my Prosecco, feet up, loving every minute of this, and Dave sat there going, Chris, I fucking hate you. And that's what we want, guys. So email us in at
Not
CD Reality.
selling Sunset or Housewives of anything. So
Well, Dave, there's another one on Netflix called Million Dollar Beach House, which I've watched, based in New York in the Hamptons. So I've watched that as well. That's pretty good. That's only 6 episodes, though. Very much selling Sunset. But anyway,
sorry,
if you do want,
can I
go
just
on,
get
go
back? I
on.
don't want to cut you off.
Go
So I
on.
don't want to lose my train of thought. The thing I was saying about the chats, and like seeing them talk about a connection, but not actually seeing a connection. That hug that Carrington and Lakin had was the most awkward thing, that I've ever seen. It's like I don't know. It was so awkward and unnatural, and yet all I hear from them is how they've got this great chemistry and instant connection. I think when I've felt that in the past, you're more at ease with each other physically, to
Yes.
just have a hug and stuff. So the fact that it was so awkward, it just struck me as a little bit off.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Dave. Like I say, I don't know what he's playing at. That was like an absolute swerve and a half tonight. I agree with it because I think Laurel has been through the ringer. However, he's just going to do it again, or he's going to end up saying, "I wish I picked Lake," or he's going to put it on Lake. And anyway, even though she's with Bennett, he's going to do something. He's not going to just sit on he's not going to sit on his laurels, David. Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah, that was
Nice,
terrible pudding.
nice.
Sorry about that. That was
Du-dum-tsh.
terrible. Yeah. Any.
So, so I guess in that recoupling, things that we haven't talked about. So Calvin, he picks Moira, claims that they're on the second page. Both a couple of blaggers. I think they'll be, one
Yeah.
of the first couples voted off. I think, unless someone somewhere, has got a soft spot for them. Johnny picks Sally, obviously. Caleb picks Justine. They were uh, obvious. Carrington, obviously, after the whole drama, who's he going to pick? He ends up picking Laurel. And then Bennett, he's left with, obviously, he's been completely friend zoned by Justine. Sorry, Kirsten. And then, so it's just a question of, is he going to pick Lakin or Julia? So he's ended up picking Lakin. Again, I think that's good for the drama. But haven't really seen anything between them two. And Lakin pretty much said to Carrington earlier that, they've had this chat with Bennington and she's not really interested. So maybe that'll change now that she's not been picked by Carrington and she decides, she might as well have a go with it with Bennett. But no, again, I just think it's an interesting dynamic that's going to feed into tomorrow's show.
It is, Dave, and I'll put my neck out now. I actually think, Dev, and I'm saying Justin and Caleb should win. I think the Sally situation could be the one. I'm going to change my prediction as we're talking about it. Johnny deserves nothing. He does not deserve to win. But I'm going because they've said the L word, and we may see that tomorrow. We have seen a prelude. I'm going with Sally and Johnny, Justine and Caleb. Then we're going to go probably Moira and Freckles third, even though they just
Oh, God.
absolutely bullshitting it out of anyone. The only pays them two on Dave is a fucking blank one. So they're definitely not connected or any lot of nonsense. Then we'll probably go Carrington and
Laurel.
Laurel, and then Bennett and Lake, and then that's my prediction, Dave.
I think so I'm going to go Justine and Caleb first, Johnny and Sally more so. Actually, like you say, it's more Sally people will be voting for. So Sally and Johnny. I actually think Carrington and Laurel will come in third. Probably just because Moira's won the OGs, she'll probably come in fourth with Freckles, and then Bennett and Lake in last.
Yeah, without a doubt. I tell you what, I'll just quickly talk about Dave, and this has become more and more apparent watching this series in the US anyway. Why the fuck have they got a presenter? What does Vanderberg, what's she called, Ariel, do that contributes or makes the episode better, other than coming on doing the strut and doing the whole looking at the camera thing, pretending she's not looking at the camera? I just don't know what she offers. I mean, Sam was going, Michael, why is she there? I said, I don't know. I said, I actually agree with you. I said, I don't understand what she's offering to the villa as a presenter. It's not like she's there every episode. And we know that across all the other seasons, that's pretty much the same format. But they could just get away with the voiceover guy and the actual Islanders reading out who leaves. I think that'd be a bit better, if I'm being honest.
But that's the whole kind of format, isn't it? From day one, you've had that presenter, and all they essentially do is walk in, and then it's when there's a recoupling or someone new coming in, they have a very minor role. And when in the Australian one, where Sophie Monk decided to take a holiday in the middle of the fucking season, you know,
That's amazing.
it's
That was
fucking brilliant, isn't
amazing.
it? It's like it's only was it 4 or 6 weeks the Australian one? It was a second season, wasn't it? She's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this, I'm off on holiday." It's like, well, surely you've got all the other weeks in the year you can fucking take it. But anyway, the episode didn't miss her really, so I don't know. For me, it's just part of the Love Island format.
I understand that she can't, they need someone in the fucking final because you can't have the two couples and then just go, here's a letter. If one of you's picky, you can't do that. You need somebody to announce who wins. But yeah, it's just become more apparent. The show's more about the voiceover guy and what's going on in the villa. And that's just like a side distraction. As much as I love Love Island and I get it, I don't know. She doesn't offer a lot, I don't think, Dave. I don't think she offers enough for me or convinces me enough that she's a good presenter.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think she does an adequate job. It's just again for me, I'm just taking it as read. That's just part of the whole format. It's obviously with the UK one, unfortunately, we know what's happened, obviously, but that started off with Caroline Flack, didn't it? And it's just the
Yeah,
Caroline Flack role that she's playing there.
yeah, true. And no, Dave, you're missing the point though. What I'm getting at is they need two middle-aged, good-looking UK presenters, almost like a double act together. You know, like
What was
a
it that
Ross
Meatloaf
and
said? Well,
Joey.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, like a
Middle-aged
Ross.
and
Sorry,
from the UK, yeah.
not a Ross. Sorry, a Joey and Chandler type duo. You know, a
Fucking
comedic
Beavis and
duo.
Butthead.
Well, yeah, comedic duo, Dave, absolutely together. You know, just playing off each. I mean, you can imagine me and you there presenting this. It'd be fantastic. They'd be like, "Who the fuck are these two granddads?" You know, and as my
Fucking hell! Can you
hair
imagine
gets
as well?
grayer.
Every time someone got voted out, they'd swing by to beat us up. You fucking bastards! So
Yeah, you'll
yeah,
be shielding behind me. Well, Chris is bigger. Just
yeah.
give Chris a crack. Yeah, he'll be all right.
So
I think we'd be perfect, Dave. Go
oh,
on,
it'd
Dave.
be fucking great, wouldn't it? But to be fair, Matt Hoffman, again, we've called him out a few times, the narrator there. I think he's really stepped up his game, and I am enjoying his narration now.
He's good. No, I like him. I do like him a lot. He's a lot better than the first series. But Dave, let me just quickly go back to that. So set the scene. We're in the final. Caleb and Justine, Johnny and Sally. They're the four. It comes to me. We've got the earpiece in. Chris, I need to get to the point of who wins it, Dave, and I'm going to pass over to you. This is our audition. So if anybody's listening from the Love Island execs out there, this is what we've got to offer. So you ready, Dave?
And
Johnny
listeners,
and
I haven't got a clue what's coming here. So go
no,
on.
no, no. There isn't. This is just our online audition. Johnny, Sally, Caleb, and Justine. We're now going to announce the winner. Music, Dave. Doom, 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 doom. And Dave, you come in with. Yeah, you're going to come in with.
I don't fucking know what you want me to do.
The US has been voting. I think I should just audition for myself. The US has been voting, and this is the results. And in second place, Johnny and Sally, and we get the crowd.
Go on, I'll
Dave,
put the sound effects in.
And your winners,
Cheating bastard.
yeah, Justine, Caleb. You'll be looking at me going, "What the fuck is this?"
Chris, I love
pathetic, wasn't
when
it?
we
That was
fucking bounce
pathetic.
off each other and we sometimes, finish each other's sentences and whatever. But fuck me, sometimes I don't know what planet you're on.
That's the whole excitement, Dave. You don't know what's coming next, but I can just picture it now. Chris, you're now the face of Love Island USA. We're going to film everything from different rooftops in Las Vegas. You're going to have to move over and take the reins on your own. We still do the podcast, Dave, but I will be there front and center. I'll get myself shredded up. The grey hair will keep as it is. I'll be almost like the George Clooney of Love Island, Dave. I'll be there. Obviously, I'll have to get my nose fucking sorted, Dave, because you can't have a schnoz like that on TV. But other than that, I will be ready for it. I won't forget you, Dave. I really won't. But I think it's just setting stars that I should be the presenter now. I'm canvassing for it.
I'll be cheering you on, heckling away, taking the piss out of you with my new co-host.
Ariel Vanderberg. Yeah. Ariel Vanderberg, she's gone.
Hey, fucking hell. I will snap whoever's hand off I need to fucking snap off to jettison you over there and get her on the podcast with me.
Oh, I don't like that, Chris. He's a right fucking big head. Look at him. It's all gone to his head now. Look at him. I remember when I presented it, yeah. I'll be getting fucking thrown. Anyway, it's a complete 5-minute segue, Dave, that I just didn't even prep you for that. But anyway, I like to think if someone's listening, that was my audition. So, get in touch, people. Yeah. So, Dave, just before we go, we've had another tremendous review.
We have indeed. Now, this one is from. I've got 0% chance of getting this pronunciation right, Chris, but it looks like Kikad Atwo, and it is subject saving my bloody sanity. Hilarious. Clever. It's the best way to avoid listening to the news. What's better than a couple of dudes analysing a relationship show? For feck's sake, I love these guys. What a fantastic review. I've got to say, Chris, in terms of all the series that we've done, some of the gushing, lovely words, apart from James, it's just been fantastic. keep saying it, but I love it when we can watch along rather than doing a kind of Netflix bingey type show. Now, Chris, if someone wants to get in contact with us, how would they do that?
You are dying to end this podcast. What the fuck are you doing? So if you want to email me with my audition there, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media and give me a load of abuse, I can take it, don't worry. At CD Reality Cast on Twitter and Instagram. And obviously, if you want to drop us a review on the show, please get over to your podcast catching app and we'll get them read out on the show. So Dave, tremendous episode, completely fucked it all up at the end with my ridiculous audition. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye now.